Good morning. This is the Blaine's World podcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. You can also hear us on Spotify and a whole bunch of other places as well. If you want to find us, you'll be able to do so. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. Each week, we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce my first guest, and she is Jordan Linkston, Christmas Angel Coordinator at ABCCM. And you can wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this, Jordan. So if you're watching it, that's Jordan. I should mention that Jordan is a Black Mountain native who spent time in Australia as a missionary kid before returning to the Asheville area. She's been working with ABCCM since 2020 as an administrative assistant, primarily for special events. She is thrilled about taking on the seasonal mantle of a full-time Christmas Angel Coordinator this year. How cool. And let me start off, first of all, by asking you, Jordan, that as a kid growing up, I guess, in Black Mountain and then in Australia, did you always know you would be involved with working with a nonprofit? Yeah.
It would seem that that's been the trajectory of my life. I've got the experience, from a young age. Servitude, I think, is one of the themes that my life has taken. So ABCCM is a really, really great place to express that.
And I guess that you got that from your folks as well, because that was whole background is servitude. And the quote I use, I'll just share it with you briefly, is a quote from a woman, you may not know her, Shirley Chisholm. And she was the Black congresswoman out of New York City, also the first Black to ever run for president of the United States. She had this great quote, which reminds me of you. She said, "Service is the rent we pay for living on earth." And so we're here to serve others. And so as a little kid, were you always involved in projects and church things and helping your parents out with different kinds of things?
Oh, absolutely.
What was your first memory of that?
Well, even before moving to Australia as a missionary, my parents were the youth directors at Trinity Presbyterian Church in Asheville. So from 2 years old, when my brain first turned on, I remember being involved in the youth ministries with kids. They seemed so much older than me, but they were middle school, high school. Not that old really, but I got to hang around with them every time there was a youth event that my parents were running. So I was involved from the very beginning.
How about when you were in college? Were you also involved in various projects of leading kids like that?
Not young kids so much. College was my opportunity to get work experience in the theater department, as it happens. I'm a theater major, which, as you can imagine, is just so lucrative. Really a good diploma to have. But I got to do a little bit of everything while I was there, did some acting, directing, running stuff behind the scenes. I think that it was all practical experience for the administrative stuff that I do right now.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Covenant College. It's in Lookout Mountain, Georgia.
Okay, because I don't recognize your name in terms of doing any acting locally. Have you done any? Are you still involved at all?
I really haven't. I could definitely pick it back up. I've seen some really good community theater stuff in Asheville.
Yeah, Asheville has great stuff. And I think we're a little frozen right now. There we go again. But yeah, Asheville has great theater, so I'd love to see you in that sometime. Will I also get to see you in Return to Bethlehem?
I am not directly involved with Return to Bethlehem. The Christmas Angel program pretty much takes up all of my time. Not that I wouldn't love to.
Have you ever been in Return to Bethlehem?
I haven't.
Because it's a lot of fun. I want to be in it. And I'm a little disappointed, though, because a couple of years ago, I was the rabbi. I played a rabbi. And this year, I wanted to be baby Jesus, but they wouldn't let me, so I was crushed. So I'm asking.
That is a very, very coveted role.
I can imagine. Or also, if not that, a jackass. Maybe I could play, one of the jackasses. I'm qualified for that. But just a fun thing that ABCCM does. And like you said, ironically, what we're talking about is a program traces the steps of Christ. In December, but it sounds like you're going to be just a little bit busy on your own in December. And that's what we're talking about now. What is, I love the title, Christmas Angel Program. What is that?
So in a nutshell, and for anybody who doesn't know right off the bat, ABCCM, that's Asheville Buncombe Community Christian Ministry. It's a faith-based ministry where we address hunger and homelessness and access to health care for the underserved in Buncombe County. There are so many families in our area that are struggling to make ends meet. How are they going to pay the rent, pay the utilities, get food, get shelter, put food on the table, rather than them having to worry about spending the money that they need for those necessities to buy Christmas presents? The Christmas Angel program fills the gaps for parents by providing them gifts that they get to give to their children.
And one of the nice things about it, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't have to be a certain religion to participate. It's open to anybody.
We are open to anybody.
Yeah, which is really cool. So talk a little bit more about it. So that the program, you've been doing it, how long has ABCCM been doing this?
ABCCM has been running the Christmas Angel in some form or another for about 40 years now.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Did you see it all? So it's the first year in charge of it. Were you involved in it all in the past, or did you see it in action?
Yeah, when I started working for ABCCM in 2020, I was doing some office stuff. I was kind of hanging out in the special events arena, and Shirley Rogers, who is the executive director's wife, Scott Rogers' wife, is at that time the Christmas Angel coordinator, and she said I could really use somebody who could give me a lot of help. I don't want to be doing this forever, but I'm the one with the know-how. Would you want to come on board as a co-coordinator? I said, yeah, sure thing.
So that was.
I've been doing it since 2020, 3 years now.
And so now this year, though, you're the chief Christmas Angel. I
am the Santa for the Christmas Angel program. Yep.
Now, as such, do you get an official outfit, or do you?
You know, it's funny you say that, because there is a literal mantle that gets passed down. It's a big red coat, no Santa beard, unfortunately, but it's something that the Christmas Angel coordinators expected to wear at the ABCCM Christmas party at the end of the year.
So it's like in golf, they have the Masters tournament. They exchange a green jacket. So you have this red. So bad we should have had you bring it today. You could have modeled it for us. But so
now that you mention it, that would have been great.
But fortunately, you don't have to wear it every day. You just have to wear it at the Christmas party.
If I so choose, I might wear it again.
Well, talk a little bit about then what happens. So great program, and we're trying to get the word out about it through this program tonight. What happens? That parents sign up for this, and where do you get the gifts? Explain the process, if you would, please.
So anyone who qualifies for some kind of ABCCM assistance at any of our 4 crisis ministry locations in the Asheville area, one downtown, one in Arden, one in Weaverville, and one in Candler. Anybody who comes in there and qualifies for some kind of ABCCM assistance also automatically qualifies for the Christmas Angel program if they've got children. We accept children newborn up to 18 years old.
Okay, and so they sign up for it, then what happens?
Once the parents have spoken to a counselor who takes their application, they receive a wish list that they get to fill out for every one of their kids. They make several selections of things that their kids might like for Christmas. That comes to me and the Christmas Angel team, and we look for a sponsor for them, somebody in the community that we can pair them with anonymously. That sponsor will go out shopping with the wish lists for the kids, purchase several items from it, and then bring it back to us. And we get those gifts ready for the parents to pick up in time for Christmas. And
so in terms of numbers, typically, or based on last year, how many families are served by this ballpark?
All right. I do have numbers for you. I rounded them up just a tiny little bit to a whole number.
Sure.
But in 2019, the year before I joined, in 2019, we had 300 families, 700 kids. 2020, when I joined, we had 400 families, 950 kids. And then last year we jumped to 500 families, 1,200 kids.
Wow. And that's pretty impressive when you consider the fact that last year was with COVID, it's still the pandemic. So I guess with those numbers, chances are it's probably going to increase this time around, you think?
I really do, especially when you're talking about like problems with the economy this year. We've been open for the program accepting applications since October. We're one of the earliest ministries to accept applications, and we accept applications up to Christmas Eve, basically. December 23rd is going to be the last day that the ministries are open, but we try and make sure that everybody gets something for Christmas up to Christmas Eve. So I'm anticipating at this point in the process, we might do over 600 families.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds it, given those numbers. But talk a little bit about then what happens. So I guess we need help on several levels. One, we need help in terms of getting toys from different stores or merchants or whatnot. How do you get the toys?
All right. So on the one hand, sponsors directly get wish lists for families, purchase those items, bring them to us, and we get them ready. We also have toy drives. Local businesses and churches will hold a toy drive for us, and I can talk about that in a little bit more detail. We get the gifts that they collect. We put them in our Christmas shop, which is a big retail space. Thank you so much to Ingalls for sponsoring it for us again this year. We fill up that retail space, tables and tables full of toys. And then we have volunteers come in during the later part of November and December. They take any wish lists that come in at that point and they fulfill them using the toys from the toy drives.
The nice thing I'm hearing you say from the toys, that these then, I guess, almost exclusively are new toys. Is that correct? They haven't been used?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
New toys.
So it's a process. So it looks like you need a bunch of people helping out on this. So you need, what I hear you saying, first of all, you need sponsors. And talk about who becomes a sponsor, or describe what that entails.
Anybody who is interested can contact us. We have a page on our Christmas Angel website where we display, and again, it's anonymous, we display a catalog of our available families. Family number 1, 2 children, boy age 13, girl age 8. Family number 15, 3 children, boy aged 14, 2 girls aged 8. So anybody interested in sponsoring a family can browse through the website, see if something jumps out at them, a family or families that they feel would fit their budget, and they book them, and then we follow up and provide them the wish list.
And if you can mention then, since you mentioned it already, the website where folks can find that.
Yes. Anybody can go to abccm.org, and under the events banner, you'll find Christmas Angel. The direct link is abccm.org/Christmas-Angel-2022.
Okay.
And that'll take you to the landing page that's got all of our options for helping out with Christmas Angel.
And so let's talk about those options. And so, as you said, one option is that people can sign up to become sponsors. And by the way, can somebody, if they choose, they don't want to get the gifts, but they just want to make a donation, I assume you take donations as well?
Absolutely. We have another page on the website that is an online toy catalog. So anybody interested in making a financial gift can take a look at that catalog and make a monetary donation for kind of a broad category of gifts, things like stuffed animals or arts and crafts supplies or board games and puzzles. We will be able to use those funds to purchase things that we have a need for in the Christmas shop. If we're running low on something, hey, we need more crayons and markers, we'll have the funds then to go out, shop for those things, and continue to fulfill children's wish lists through the Christmas shop.
Is that one of the fun parts of your job? I can just see it, that all of a sudden you get sent out that you need 10 teddy bears or whatever, and they send you out and you have to go to the store and get the items.
I actually really love being a personal shopper. I'm totally the person who is at the store browsing for an hour. I'm also kind of a big toy geek, so I love going to the toy aisle and like seeing what's popular. I kind of have my finger on the pulse there. So if a volunteer comes up and says, I'm looking at this wish list, what kind of doll is this right here? That's an LOL doll. They're incredibly popular. It looks like this one would be good for her. Why don't you go ahead and put that in the bag?
When you go shopping, do you get to wear that red coat?
You know, I ought to. I really should.
No, just
Although it's red, if I went to Target, somebody might mistake me for an employee. Not that I don't know where everything is. I do.
I love it. So that's cool. So there are a couple aspects of this. So the first thing, you got to get the toys. And so you need people to either get the toys themselves or to make a contribution. In addition, talk about something else you said. So somebody has to, put all these toys together in terms of packaging and gift wrapping. That's a whole separate process.
So anytime something comes into the Christmas shop, if it's a direct sponsor or if a volunteer is putting together gifts from the toy drive toys, we bag everything up. We make sure that everything's labeled for each child. This is this girl's stuff. This is this boy's stuff. We put everything into a black plastic bag or bags because we want the parents to be able to bring things home and the kids not go, what's that? Ooh, what's that over there? And we include gift wrap and tape so that the parents get to put all of these gifts together for their kids. We make sure that they all know this isn't ABCCM giving your kids gifts. We're providing you some gifts that you get to give to your kids.
Talk a little bit about the reaction you get from this whole process. We'll talk about it a couple of different ways. One, in terms of the kids getting the gifts. Do you ever hear about any reaction, or do you ever see the reaction of the kids, or get feedback on it?
On occasion, and it's more the parents. We do ask that the parents, when they come to pick stuff up, if possible, don't let your kids see behind the curtain. Sometimes they have to because they can't find childcare, but generally it's the parents' reactions that we get to see. And I won't cry. The gratitude that you see when these parents come in and we bring them out their bags of stuff for the kids, it's the kind of thing that I get home after the end of the day and get emotional about.
Just hearing about it, I'm getting emotional too. It's just incredible. But can I make a suggestion in terms of moving forward on this? Do you have any of those reactions on videotape?
I don't, and that's for the sake of anonymity.
I got you. Okay.
What we try and do with along every step of the way is make sure that we're preserving people's dignity.
When we're taken.
And one of the ways we do that is trying to make things anonymous.
But I can just, hear the reaction or see the reaction of parents, and like, I love what you said about it. The fact that they're giving the gift, so it's not, it's from the parent as opposed to, like you said, ABCCM or a sponsor or something along those lines. So talk a little bit about then, how many people do you have gift wrapping? In other words, so they come they come to Ingalls to the Christmas shop? And, yeah. Describe what happens then.
Okay, so we have about 6 volunteers at a time. We have shifts in the Christmas shop, Monday to Saturday. We have about 6 volunteers at any given time working in the shop, walking around the tables, setting down stuff that comes in from toy drives. They come right back over, pick stuff up, take it over to our table where we're collecting things for whatever kids' wish list we're looking at, bag them up, throw in some gift wrap and tape, and then it goes to our alphabetized wall. And then another volunteer will go and call that parent and say, hey, it's time for you to come pick up your stuff.
When does the gift wrapping start, or is it already underway?
We will open the Christmas shop officially on November 28th. So for the first week of December.
Okay, and I assume you're looking also for volunteers in that area as well?
Absolutely. There is always stuff for people to be doing at the Christmas shop.
And so how do they sign up for that?
On the website, I have a calendar for volunteering. It's got all of the shifts laid out by day. We do 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., Monday to Friday, and 2 shifts a little bit shorter on Saturdays. So anybody who's interested in doing a volunteer shift can go to the website, book on the calendar. They can also contact me if it's for a larger group, like if a business has several employees or if a church has a youth group that wants to volunteer. I encourage people to contact me and I will find them the perfect shift for a large group of people.
Now, if somebody doesn't know how to gift wrap, I guess one of 2 things. One, will you show them how, or you'll teach them how to gift wrap?
Absolutely. We have volunteers who return every year. They know the ropes. They're out there training the new volunteers, looking over their shoulder. Let's add one of these to this gift pile. You're doing good. We make sure that everybody is thoroughly trained.
Yeah, or I guess if they don't want to gift wrap, you could put them to work in other capacities.
We need people to make phone calls to parents and say, come and pick up your stuff. We need people to drive out to businesses and churches sometimes and pick up toy drive gifts. We sometimes later in the year have some volunteers deliver gifts to people who are homebound and just can't make it to the Christmas shop to pick up themselves.
Now, this is the first year you're running the overall thing, but you've helped in the past. Seems like this big logistical, I won't say nightmare, but it's a big deal. At the end of the year, the 23rd of December, does everything get distributed and all the gifts get picked up? Does it almost always click?
For the most part. I did have a couple of families who just couldn't make it work in time for Christmas, but we did catch up with them after Christmas and we made sure that they got their stuff. Last year, Christmas Eve was Friday and it was the last day the ministries were open. We typically didn't get many last day applicants before. Last year, I had 10 families who got in on the very last day. They took the application at the ministry and said, go straight to the Christmas shop. They will have your stuff ready. And
they were able to get stuff, which is pretty cool, because that's not a lot of advanced planning, but very cool that you were able to do that. So talk about then over the years, how has the program evolved? You've been involved in it now 3 or 4 years. Have you seen changes over the years?
The main thing that I would say has changed, besides the, exponential growth of how many families that we're serving, we went from doing everything offline. So literally anybody interested in sponsoring would call in on the phone and somebody would have a spreadsheet in front of them going, okay, how many kids, what ages? Okay, I found somebody for you. Come and pick up the paper wish list. Now we do most of that online. So sponsors browse families online, book them themselves, and we follow up with the wish list by email. People schedule on the volunteer calendar online, purchase things on the toy catalog online. It's made things so much easier to do it that way as the program has scaled up and we've needed to help more and more people have been interested in helping out.
Where do you see the program going in the future?
I would say that I want to make sure to foster really good relationships with the businesses and churches that already participate in the program. We've got the First Citizens Banks. Every branch of First Citizens is going to be doing a toy drive for us. All of the IHOPs in the Asheville area are going to be doing one. So hopefully anybody who'd like to do a toy drive gift, you'll be able to find a local business that has one. And I would say beyond that, just maybe get some more people to participate, have some more regulars that we can reach out to next year and go, thanks so much for participating last year. What can we have you do for us this year?
You mentioned a couple of businesses that already have the toy drives. So when somebody wants to give a toy, like to one of the places you mentioned, is that just any toy they can think of, or are there suggestions as to what kind of toys to give to a toy drive?
So it's a long-standing tradition for the Christmas Angel program that we have these paper ornaments that we provide to anybody who's going to do a toy drive. They have gift suggestions on the back of them, several gift suggestions based off of categories like age or type of activity. So somebody interested in participating can take one of those paper ornaments off of the Christmas tree or the window display, buy one of the gifts that's on that card, and then bring it back to where they took the ornament. And then we either come and pick them up, or that business drops them off to us.
And when they bring in the item, is it necessary for them to gift wrap it, or they don't have to?
No, we do want them unwrapped because, again, we like the parents to be able to wrap those gifts.
Oh, okay. So you said the parents wrap the gifts?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now I got it. So they just pick up, I think I got it. They pick up the big black bag, and then they have X number of toys in them, and then they have to just, oh, that's really cool. So I got it. So let's just bring this together again. If folks want to participate in the program, best bet is go again to the website, and the website was what?
It's abccm.org/Christmas-Angel-2022.
Okay. The nice thing, if they don't remember that, they just go to abccm.org. The website is great. They can find it, you know. And so
it's a special event. You'll be able to find it under events. Okay.
And so they can participate, again, you said in a couple of different ways. They can be sponsors and donate gifts to the drive. Again, recap some of the other ways that people can get involved if they're listening.
Sponsor a family directly. You can buy gifts off of the toy catalog for us, and we'll use those funds when we have a need in the Christmas shop. You can volunteer to come in and work a couple of shifts, or you could host a toy drive of your own, either in your church or your small business or just among your family. Here's a paper ornament. It's got a gift idea on it. Purchase that and we'll take it over to the Christmas shop. And just to make things even easier, every one of those paper ornaments has a QR code on the other side. That takes you straight to the ABCCM Christmas Angel page as well.
So we're getting high tech here, you know, that makes it a lot easier for people. And the whole thing is, it sounds like a, you know, big job, but I can see where you're going to be just a little busy toward the end of November and early December, or I guess. Are you, I guess, already now you're starting to plan and organize it and get it off the ground?
Like I said, we've been open for a month already, taking the applications, and we've got 170 families. 50 of them are brand new families. So we proactively contact people from last year and say, if you're going to want to do the Christmas Angel program, go on into the ministry and apply again. 50 of them are already new families. So again, I'm expecting we will do 600 by the end of December.
And that ties into the last question I wanted to ask you, Jordan. If somebody is listening to this or watching it or hearing about it from somebody else, and they want to, I guess, nominate themselves, or a family wants to get involved in this, you get new families, they can just sign up for it themselves?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the criteria can go to the website. And is there a specific criteria they have to meet to participate, or is it just kind of based on an honor system?
To receive assistance for the Christmas Angel program, you'll go to a ministry. You do need to speak to a counselor because they assess your need and they will see if there's anything else that ABCCM can provide in addition to the Christmas program. It's based off of income. I believe it's 150% of the poverty level, but that's something to discuss with a counselor. They will have more information on that than I do.
And one of the things that you point out, which is why ABCCM is so great, that they'll try to find a way to help, whatever the situation, a Christmas angel or something else. But you guys just do great work. And, I'm so impressed with the Christmas angel. And we have you on next year. The only thing that we'll have you have that red coat. So,
okay. You got it.
Anyway, pleasure meeting you and continue doing the great work you're doing. And I hope you sounds like you'll have another great year, and just keep it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Blaine. It was an honor being on.
Okay, well, my pleasure to have you. And as Jordan works her way out of the studio, where I kind of kick her out here. Thanks, Jordan. We're going to bring in our next guest, and I think he'll be with us in a second. Perfect timing. Randy, before I have you come on board, let me just mention to people that they're watching or listening to the Blaine's World podcast. We're heard every week here or seen on YouTube, Facebook Live, LinkedIn. You can also find us on Spotify. And like I said, you name it, you can find us. And my next guest, it's a pleasure to introduce you to a friend of mine, and he is the infamous Randy Feeman. And welcome aboard, Randy. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Okay, Randy, you can also wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this, and that is Randy Feeman. And I should mention that Randy is a 23-year, I guess, member of the International Barbershop Harmony Society. Started as a hobby, but soon became a lifestyle. I love it. He's currently singing the Land of Sky men's chorus and works in marketing for the Asheville chapter of the Barbershop Harmony Society. He sings lead in his quartet, 50-50. Hosts one day, I love this, to win a gold medal in the senior quartet category. Is there a gold medal? Are there awards like that?
Yes, there are. Yeah. And one day I'll have one around my neck.
Yeah, but the only thing, Randy, you're gonna have to wait a couple of years to even be eligible to enter it. You have to, right? You have to be a certain age to enter it.
Actually, you only have to be 55, and I passed that mark a little while ago.
Okay, well, you could fool me, Randy. We had you on board a couple of months ago, I guess, but we were then doing a straight radio show. We're now doing this podcast. So I'll start again from the beginning, and I'm curious about guests. You grew up where again?
I grew up in Indiana.
Okay. And so as a kid, were you always singing?
Pretty much from the time I was a kid, yeah. And I sang in the church choir, and then I sang in a gospel trio with my younger brother. And then when I found barbershop, I was in my 40s, and it was just something that really drew my attention. The first visit that I made to a men's chorus, I thought they were the best kept secret in Indianapolis.
Well, what exactly, for the people who don't know what it is, what is a barbershop quartet?
A barbershop is 4-part a cappella harmony, basically harmony that revolves around a melody. And I happen to be a lead singer. I sing the melody typically. And so the 3 other fellows that sing with me will sing baritone, tenor, and bass. And the barbershop has actually been around since the early 1900s. It's a style of music that is a genre of music that is we're not professional, we're amateurs. And so all people of all races and religions and backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, and are welcome to join us and sing harmony. We have a new emphasis on having everyone in harmony. And that's making things very interesting, because the society was a men's organization for a long time. So things are changing and evolving. And it's not the red and white striped vests and the handlebar mustaches and all that people would think whenever they think about barbershop harmony. It's been evolving through the years.
Well, you mentioned too that it has changed a little bit. So you don't have one of those red striped shirts somewhere around there? Do you ever sing in them?
I have actually worn the red and white striped vest by request, but usually I'm not a fan of promoting the stereotypical view of barbershop. I like for people to come and experience it themselves, and then they'll say, "Oh, it's different than I thought it was."
Well, even as you point out, and in your chapter certainly being an example of this, that now even women are parts of barbershop quartets. Is that correct?
Right now, we do have female members of our chapter. We we have a men's chorus only. We don't have a women's chorus or a mixed chorus yet. those things are in the works for the future. But we do have mixed quartets, and we do have right now we're doing the holiday community chorus, which is focusing on singing at the Biltmore Village on December 2nd. We have rehearsals every Tuesday night through the month of November. We started last week, and so the Holiday Community Chorus is rehearsing every Tuesday. And anyone who's listening to this now would be welcome to come and join us. Basically, we're going to do traditional Christmas songs, and then it'll culminate at the Biltmore Village when they have the tree lighting on December 2nd, for that Friday night. And we may have a few other things and other places where the Holiday Community Chorus will also be able to go and sing.
Talk about then the community chorus. How many members in it approximately? Right
now, at our first rehearsal last Tuesday, we had 26, 28 people, but it's open, and we would love to have more. Anyone listening now would be welcome to join us. You can get a little more information at our website, which is ashevillebarbershop.com. And when you go on the website, there information about the chorus, information about the Holiday Community Chorus, and the rehearsal hall. We do rehearse at the Cathedral of All Souls in Biltmore, the church there. And on Tuesday nights, our rehearsals start at 6:30, run to 7:30 for the Holiday Community Chorus, and then the Land of the Sky has a rehearsal after the community chorus is finished.
Now, talk about the process, Randy. If somebody wants to get involved in the community chorus or even Land of the Sky, are there auditions, or they have to? What happens?
No audition for the Holiday Community Chorus. There would be auditions for the Land of the Sky men's chorus.
Okay.
But the Holiday Community Chorus is open to the whole community.
But you hope people can carry a tune?
Well, we do music education. We actually educate and help people. If people have a desire, what we found is when people have a desire, if they have a passion to sing, most of the time, if they're not already active singers, but they have an interest, we can educate and help. And of course, some people we might encourage them to consider taking up bowling, but for the most part, I would think most people will be very welcome.
Well, Randy, you should encourage them to come to a show I'll be in. It's going to be at Attic Salt, and I'm actually singing a song. I have a song I'm singing. The song is Tequila.
Oh, Tequila.
Yeah, so that's my kind of song. So you have to come to that show.
I'm familiar.
I can handle that, that particular song. But that's really cool. But talk a little bit about this, Randy. You and I once talked about it. The fact that, unfortunately, some people have a negative impression of singing, and I being one of them, because as a kid, it was drummed into them that they couldn't sing, and then they never sang. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's a sad thing when a music teacher tells a child that they can't sing. It's kind of like telling someone that they can't speak French, because it's possible to learn how to sing. It is if you have a voice, basically you have the capability of singing. Some people are going to be better singers than others, naturally, just like they're athletes. You don't discourage a child from playing baseball because they're not going to be playing in the tournaments and win the World Series. So, and the Barbershop Harmony Society is definitely for an amateur. None of the people involved in it, or most of all the people involved, I can't say none, but most of the people involved are not professional. We do have our director, Katie Swinney, is a music educator, and she's very talented and has been very, very good for our chapter, the men's chorus. And now she's working with the Holiday Community Chorus, and I think people are really we've only had one rehearsal, but people are having a wonderful time. It was a highlight for me last year in 2021 because we didn't really have very many times we could go sing. So when we got to the very end of the year, we had an opportunity to sing outside at Biltmore Village, and it was very enjoyable. And that's why I wanted to get involved in it again this year. But the Land of the Sky has got we've had an interesting year. We had a spring convention in Walterboro, South Carolina, where we competed against other choruses. And this year we were back actually competing live and not having to do it virtually, which is a very difficult thing to do. But so we're back singing live with each other, and we had a wonderful time in Walterboro, and we scored very well. And then in just A few weeks ago in Raleigh, we had our fall convention, our fall district convention, and we did even better at that convention. So we're on our chapter, our men's chorus is on an upward trajectory right now. Things are really going well. We are bringing some members that have stepped out. They're coming back. And we're also getting new members. We have a number of younger fellows that are in their 20s and 30s, which is a very positive thing for us. We don't want to be an organization that is just older men. Now we've opened our membership up to women, and we're also very interested in having younger folks come. I do find that when people of all ages hear what we do, there are some that are just automatically drawn to it, and some that can take it or leave it. We're looking for the ones that really have an interest in singing. And a cappella singing is a little trickier, a little bit more difficult than choral singing and singing a solo or singing with an orchestra with all the vocal backing, because you have, or all instrumental backing, because you have, it's just very different when it's just the four voices alone. It's a different genre, different style of music altogether.
One of the things that impressed me most about your group, Randy, was the fact that there are a lot of songs out there, and that talk about that it's just amazed me that typically, even for the upcoming concert, how many, I'll ask you first of all, how many songs do you know?
Oh, how many songs do I know?
Yeah.
Mercy, I probably know somewhere between 200 and 300 songs that I could polish up and have ready within a short period of time. Yeah. But
have you memorized them?
For a long time. I'm sorry?
Have you memorized them?
Yes, and that's the thing about the a cappella is we do, you won't find a barbershop group holding music in their hands. Everything is locked in here. You have to learn the notes and words. So it makes it a little more difficult from a learning process. But then whenever you get past the learning process, then it frees you up to be able to deliver the message of the song and to be able to connect with the audience. That's, can you imagine if you went to a concert for Garth Brooks and he had music in front of him? A little bit different. So yeah, we do have to memorize. I wanted to mention our president, Jim Gordon. He's also in the baritone in my quartet. He's going to be serving in his second term this next year, and he's doing an outstanding job. And I think I've mentioned Katie Swinney, our director, and she is doing a phenomenal job with us. I wanted to mention also Jamie Blair, who is the bass in my quartet 50/50. And I'm going to also mention Andy Reach, who does some assistant directing with us. And just wanted to mention those fellows. Those are people that if you go onto our website again, you'd have a little bit more information.
Now, just hold on that a little bit. Talk about that process as well. So you mentioned that you have rehearsals for Light in the Sky. What is it, once a week for an hour or so?
Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 9.
Okay.
And right now, the Holiday Community Chorus is taking up the first hour from 6:30 to 7:30. And then anyone there who comes to the rehearsal for the Holiday Community Chorus is welcome to stay and listen. And if they're men, they're welcome to join us in singing, because the Light in the Sky is a men's chorus. But things are changing, so we do have mixed quartets, a number of mixed quartets within our group.
And to talk about that part of the quartet, which I've heard you perform, the 50/50 quartet you have. So is that additional practice or rehearsals you have with those folks?
Oh yes, I typically drive up to Asheville. I'm living in the upstate of South Carolina and driving up to Asheville because I love this hobby so much. And I connected with the men of the Land of the Sky and with the Asheville chapter. So I drive up on Tuesday evenings for rehearsal with the chorus, and typically go back up again on Thursday evening to rehearse with my quartet. And then of course we have performances. And 50/50 has been fortunate to we've sung at Arden Woods Retirement Center. We were invited to sing at a neighborhood party where we met Mr. and Mrs. Hillman from the Hillman's Brewery. And we've also sung just recently at Ginger's Revenge, which is a brewery there in Asheville. We were there for a fundraising event that the cat rescue was holding, and that was a lot of fun. Most of the time when our quartet does performances, most of those are paid, but not always. Sometimes it depends on, for example, for this fundraiser, we didn't make a charge. However, they did feed us, which was wonderful. So, but our quartets, right now we have 4 active quartets, 2 mixed and 2 men's quartets within our chapter.
And talk about, Randy, one other thing too that I've had the pleasure of experiencing, and that is around Valentine's Day. One of my favorite activities is what you folks do, and could talk a little bit about that.
Yes, typically at Valentine's Day, we send quartets out all around the city. And this coming year, there's been some discussion from our board about taking the chorus and doing more as a chorus rather than quartets. So we have some retirement centers lined up to go sing for at Valentine's Day, where we'll have a Valentine's banquet. And then I'm sure that in the future, we'll be getting back to sending quartets out as well. But this next year, I think we're going to be focusing more on finding places for the chorus to sing, which is a group of about 20 to 24 men.
And the advantage, I guess, you reach a lot more people that way.
Yes.
But just to give you a compliment, and it was your group that I actually had surprised my wife and her sister with a Valentine's Day performance. And it's just magnificent. You know, it's amazing to surprise somebody and come to their place and work or home. And so hopefully we'll get back again to that, because that was just, one of my favorite things to experience.
Actually, I think my quartet might possibly be available at Valentine's. So by checking out on our website. And contacting us, letting us know that you're interested in a singing Valentine, I think we can still make the arrangements for that.
Or another thing folks could do, you just gave a great idea. If a company conceivably would be interested in having for their employees a Valentine's Day concert or Valentine's Day performance, wouldn't this be a nice gift to give to them?
It is. It's wonderful. I have been in dentist's office and chiropractors' offices, different places to sing. Actually, even sang at a bowling alley one time, where that was an interesting experience. But,
what was that occasion?
Oh, that was when I was in Indianapolis, and the fellow that was singing baritone in the quartet that I had, his girlfriend worked there at the bowling alley, and they had a little gathering, and we went in and one of their party rooms and sang for a group that was there, and we also sang to his girlfriend. But it was a little difficult with all the noise, but it was a lot of fun.
Have you ever had an occasion in all the years you've been singing, in terms of somebody for an engagement or proposal? Have you had that at all?
I have personally sung at a wedding reception, and that was a lot of fun. Of course, because I've been involved in barbershop for 23 years, I've had a lot of opportunities to sing for different people. My favorite audience to sing for is a room full of women. I just love doing that. It's a lot of fun. We had an occasion where we were singing in a quartet. We were singing songs from Somewhere Over the Rainbow. We sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz. And we also sang a song, a ballad called If I Only Had a Brain.
Oh, sure.
It was a lot of fun, because at the introduction, when we introduced the song, I said, we'd like to dedicate this next song to all of the men in your life, your husbands, your brothers, your uncles. And then we sang If I Only Had a Brain, and they seemed to really enjoy it.
Well, how do you choose the music to be part of your repertoire?
I'm very fortunate to have access to a lot of music. The Barbershop Harmony Society, the International Barbershop Harmony Society, has a website where there's a plethora of songs, country songs, jazz songs. It's all in our style, but it's all different kinds of music. Sacred music. It is interesting that we kind of cover a broad range of music with our style. And we do have young arrangers that will take a song that's been recently written and put it into our style. So I think we have something by a group called the Plain White Tees, which means it's been written in this century, not just old. So we're not just singing old songs. However, we still like the old songs. And I found out that if something is good, it really doesn't make a lot of difference how old it is. There's a song that was written the year that I was born, And I love singing the song. It's a beautiful song. And when people hear it, they enjoy it. It's called
What's the
All
song?
the Things You Are.
Okay.
All the Things You Are. It's a beautiful song.
What about the trend now in popular music, where there are a lot of a cappella groups out there, which is
Great. We're excited about that. Groups like Pentatonics and Straight No Chaser, it infuses an interest in a cappella singing, and then when people, not everyone can sing like Pentatonics, but they can come and sing with us and find out that they fit in just right.
Well, same point is we were very surprised. We went recently to Dollywood, and they had one of the shows was a barbershop quartet singing, or a mixed quartet, and they were so good. They just a separate show to themselves. So people want to see something that's and they played the whole gamut of music. So it's not just old music. Right. Do you have any favorite type music you sing or perform?
I really enjoy a nice, easy, laid back kind of a swing. And our group is singing a song that Ray Charles made popular in 1956 called "Hallelujah, I Love Her So."
Oh, sure.
And it's just a nice, laid back, easy beat song, but it's so much fun to sing. And when the judges were listening to us at our last competition in Raleigh just a few weeks ago, they were very kind. When we had a review with the judges, they came in and give us an idea of what we were doing right and what we could do better. And the feedback was wonderful to hear that we had chosen a song that the judges really enjoyed listening to and tapping their toe as we're singing. So I wanted to mention that the Asheville chapter is always looking for three things. We're always looking for new members, because we seem to lose members occasionally, and then so we need to replace those members. And right now we're running around 24 to 26 members. We could very easily have 40 to 60 to 80. We'd be very happy. I think the Asheville area would definitely be large enough to support a chorus of 60 to 80 men with no problem at all. And of course, we're always looking for sponsors, people that want to support us. And we're always looking for an audience to sing for. So if people have events, businesses that have events that would like to hire the chorus to come in to sing, we would be a more reasonably priced group to sing for, or to hire, because we don't have to bring in a lot of equipment. And we're not bringing in a lot of musicians and a lot of instruments. We just bring the men show up. We have a pitch pipe, blow the pitch, and then we take off.
I was going to ask you on the pitch pipe. Does every member get a pitch pipe, or only certain people use it?
Typically, everyone can have one. I've got several because I've been singing this barbershop for so long. But in a quartet, one person is designated to blow the pitch. And more often than not, the baritone gets that job, because it just turns out to be his job. The baritone and the tenor will typically be on the ends of the quartet, and then the bass and the lead singers are typically in the center. That's not always the case, but it's a pretty good rule. I like to have my bass right here and my tenor right here, and then my baritone over there. It's each group makes their own decision how they're going to operate. Also, each group makes that decision. So it could be that the tenor will blow the pitch. Now in our chorus, we might have two designated pitch blowers, so we can hear. So on both sides of the chorus, you can hear the pitch, because hearing the pitch is very important to getting started correctly.
Now, what's interesting I found when I saw you perform is that you do the pitch thing before each song. Is that what typically happens? Yeah.
We have to know what key the song is written in, and typically they're blowing the root of the song. So if it doesn't necessarily mean that note is the note that I'm going to start on, I have to I have to know the song, and I develop some muscle memory and listen to the pitch, and then I know where my starting note is on that song. And that's just something that comes from rehearsal. It comes from practice. And some people say practice makes perfect, but we've discovered that it takes perfect practice to be perfect.
What if somebody's pitch deaf?
Very few people are tone deaf, and those are the people that we like. We want them to be in our audience.
I ask you that too, because in terms of the audience, do you ever find and react to this, if you would, the audience sing along with you? Do you like that?
Oh, yes. Oh, we love to have sing-alongs. People want to be involved in what you're doing, especially the style of music that we sing, because we'll sing things that people are familiar with. We'll sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, or we'll sing a song that people will recognize. We're singing a lot more Disney songs from Disney movies and things that Randy Newman has written, and things from Toy Story and Aladdin, and a lot of different Disney movies. So those are fun. People recognize those. And of course, when we sing at the nursing homes and retirement centers, people recognize the music that we sing, because we're singing some music from the Great American Songbook. It's been songs that have been around, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. We will sing Beatles music. We'll sing Billy Joel. We'll sing Plain White Tees.
You mentioned that before. Is there an actual Great American Songbook? Yes.
I'm trying to think of the fellow's name who is the music curator for the theater in Indianapolis, the Palladium. He brought a lot of groups in that were singing music from the Great American Songbook. That's basically songs that have been popular throughout the years. And that songbook is still being written. So there are still songs that are sung today that will make it into the Great American Songbook.
I mean, so do people actually buy this? It's a big book with 500 songs in it?
No, it's more of an idea than it is an actual physical thing.
So that'd be a lot of songs you have
Yes.
to carry around.
Lots of songs.
Or something. In terms of moving forward on this, are there any things you want to do in terms of being in barbershop quartets? Back to one thing you said, you talked about the judging. That must be a very difficult process to judge barbershop quartets, isn't it?
It would be for me if they asked me to do that, because I would rather just sit and enjoy it and listen to it rather than try to score it. But there are fellas that are really good at the judging, because there are technical things that our judges listen for. They're listening for intonation. They're listening for vowel production, and the blend that a chorus will have or a quartet will have. They're listening closely. And it's like anything else. If you go to a ballroom dancing competition, the judges that are watching the dancers, they're looking for very specific things that when the dancers do those things, it elevates the art form. It lets you know they're doing things correctly. And I was a ballroom dancer for a while, and I did some contests, and I talked to some of the judges there in ballroom and asked them, what are the specific things that you're looking for? And the same thing with in the barbershop world. When I have an opportunity to sit down with a judge and I ask him, what is it exactly that you're listening for and what are you watching for? And today in the presentation category, they're looking for a connection with the music, being able to deliver the message of the song to your audience in an impactful way, as well as intonation and the other technical things that you work on to get the vowels matched. Because in this type of harmony, it's close harmony. It's not typically it's not going to be any further apart than 2 octaves at the very most. So most of the harmony is going to be real close. And
talk about that as one last thing. You're talking about, so you can judge the music, but the presentation part of it's important also.
Oh yes, how you connect with the audience and the delivery of the message of the song. For example, we sang a beautiful song called From the First Hello to the Last Goodbye, which had a very impactful message about the relationship of being able to just saying hello to someone and developing a friendship, and then having to say goodbye to them at some point. And getting that message across to the audience is an important thing. So getting to the point where we have the words and the notes memorized and we can connect with the audience, then we're working on the artistic part of it, which is really the fun part for me. Learning notes and words is just something that I do so that I can get to the point where I can connect with the audience and deliver the message of the song and deliver the emotion of the song as well.
Randy Feeman, if folks want to find out more, again, about your barbershop quartet or the organization overall, what's the best bet?
The best bet is to go to ashevillebarbershop.com. On the site, there's all kinds of information. There's also a link to our Facebook page. And on our Facebook page, we'll have some videos of recent things that we've been doing. We had an event where we met at Standard Pizza, and we do some singing there. And we had some groups that were recorded. You'd find a recording from some of the quartets that have sung there. And I think on our website, there should be, if it's not already there, it will be soon, the video from the contest that we did in Raleigh just a few weeks ago.
Okay, very cool. Anyway, Randy Feeman, I'd like to thank you for being my guest this second half hour of the Blaine's World podcast. As always, a pleasure to speak to you, to see you, and hopefully we'll bump into each other sometime in the near future.
I hope so. And hopefully
okay,
I can get to sing for you.
Okay, I like it. Thanks, buddy.
Thank
Stay
you.
with me after I sign off.